نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد بسم الله. Today inshallah we will continue from verse number 30 of Surah Al-Zumar. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إنك ميت وإنهم ميتون. Indeed you are to die and indeed they are to die. So this verse declares the mortal nature of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a human being. And it is a reminder to all of us that if the most noble, the highest in stature, ever to live on this earth has to leave this world, then all of us have to face death too. And the same is mentioned for the noble Sahaba and everyone else, Muslim or non-Muslim, in this verse. In fact, this is the same verse which was recited by Abu Bakr anhu when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away and people were in shock. He also recited another verse at that time from Surah Al-Imran, verse 144, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ إِنْ قَلَبْتُمْ عَلَى عَقَابِكُمْ. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not but a messenger. Other messengers have passed on before him. So if he was to die or be killed, would you turn back on your heels to unbelief? It is mentioned in Tafseer Jalalain that this verse was revealed when people of Makkah were eagerly waiting for the death of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They were hoping that this will eliminate the opposition to their idols and save the division among their families and tribes, because more and more people were accepting Islam and separating from their family. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reassures them that just like Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will pass away, the people of Makkah will also face death. As it comes to Surah Anbiya, verse 34, أَفَإِن مِتَّ فَهُمُ الْخَالِدُونَ. So if you die, would they be eternal? Just by wishing the death of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, would they get the eternal life themselves? No, they will also pass away. ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عِنْدَ رَبِّكُمْ تَخْتَصِمُونَ. Then indeed you on the day of resurrection before your Lord will dispute. Everyone will present their case in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, whether they are believers or disbelievers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then settle the dispute between them. As we learn from a narration narrated by Abu Hurairah ta'ala anhu in Bukhari, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Man kanat indahu mazlamatun li akhihi falyatahallalahu minha. فإنه ليس ثم دينار ولا درهم من قبل أن يؤخذ لأخيه من حسناته فإن لم يكن له حسنات أخذ من سيئات أخيه فطرحت عليه. Whoever has wronged his brother should ask for his pardon before his death, as in the hereafter there will be neither a dinar nor a dirham. He should secure this pardon in this life before some of his good deeds are taken and paid to his brother. Or if he has not done any good deeds, some of the bad deeds of his brother are then taken to be loaded on him in the hereafter. So that should be the mindset of us living this world, where on the day of judgment, all the matters will be settled. And the time for action is what we have today. So if we have done wrong to our brother or someone else around us, make sure you correct that. Make sure you ask for pardon. Make sure you pay back that loan if is due upon you, or you have confiscated something unlawfully, that make sure you turn it back. All those things should be settled in this world, because in the hereafter, the currency is different. The currency is no longer money as it is in this world. It is your good deeds that are getting exchanged, or you're getting bad deeds if you didn't have any. And that would be a very difficult moment, because there is no way to then gain back your good deeds. At that time, there is no way to act and collect good deeds. So better settle that in this world. فَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ كَذَبَ عَلَى اللَّهِ وَكَذَّبَ بِالصِّدْقِ إِذْ جَاءَهُ أَلَيْسَ فِي جَهَنَّمَ مَثْوًى لِلْكَافِرِينَ. So who is more unjust than one who lies about Allah and denies the truth when it has come to him? Is there not in hell a residence for the disbelievers? Bisidq means bilhaq. And the truth here could refer to what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam brought, that is Quran and Sunnah. Or it is how Ibn Abbas mentioned that the truth means the kalima la ilaha illallah. And some scholars have taken a broader meaning, and they have included all prophets who brought the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah knows best. There's no one more wrong than such a person, since he combines two aspects of falsehood: the disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the disbelief in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what were some of these lies of disbelievers? That Allah had taken partners, that He had children. And they were so bold and deviant that when they committed a prohibited act, they lied upon Allah that they were actually following what Allah had commanded. As it comes to Surah Araf, verse 28, وَإِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً قَالُوا وَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا وَاللَّهُ أَمَرَنَا بِهَا. And when they commit an immorality, they say, we found our fathers doing it, and Allah has ordered us to do it. So for such people who have rejected faith and fabricated lies, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares that they will be living eternally in hellfire. وَالَّذِي جَاءَ بِالصِّدْقِ وَصَدَّقَ بِهِ أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْمُتَّقُونَ لَهُم مَّا يَشَاءُونَ عِندَ رَبِّهِمْ ذَلِكَ جَزَاءُ الْمُحْسِنِينَ لِيُكَفِّرَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ أَسْوَأَ الَّذِي عَمِلُوا وَيَجْزِيَهُمْ أَجْرَهُمْ بِأَحْسَنِ الَّذِي كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And the one who has brought the truth, meaning Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they who believed in it, meaning Muslims, those are the righteous. They will have whatever they desire with their Lord. That is the reward of the doers of good. That Allah may remove from them the worst of what they did and reward them their due for the best of what they used to do. And look at the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with such righteous believers. Their bad deeds are forgiven, and instead they get the best of rewards in the hereafter. And what is this reward? This reward is paradise, where they can desire whatever they will, and it will be given to them without any limits. أليس الله بكاف عبده ويخوفونك بالذين من دونه ومن يضلل الله فما له من هاد. Is not Allah sufficient for His servant, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And yet they threaten you with those they worship other than Him. And whoever Allah leaves astray, for him there is no guidance. وَمَن يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَمَا لَهُ مِن مُضِلٍّ أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِعَزِيزٍ ذِي انتِقَامٍ. And whoever Allah guides, for him there is no misleader. Is not Allah exalted in might and honor of retribution? Disbelievers had threatened Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his followers that if they disrespect the idols and not worship them, then these idols will put a curse on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and create problems for his companions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here comforts by reminding us that it is Allah who is in control. It is Allah who manages all affairs, and He is enough to keep believers under protection. This is indeed a very powerful message and a promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is enough for the affairs of Muslims. You can apply this verse to a specific incident at the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or to any conflict between believers and disbelievers today, or to any situation where a Muslim is threatened in the path of obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once you have a firm conviction on the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no worldly power will scare you. No superior rank in any hierarchy will frighten you. You will be fearless of everyone because you're fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As it comes in Surah Nisa, verse 81, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ وَكِيلًا. So leave them alone and rely upon Allah, and sufficient is Allah as disposer of affairs. We make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma laka aslamtu wa bika amantu wa alayka tawakkaltu wa ilayka nabtu wa bika khasamtu. O Allah, I have surrendered to you, and I have faith in you, I trust in you, and I have turned to you. I have contested my opponents for your sake, And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us in our affairs in combating situations that are difficult and challenging simply because we want to be steadfast on the truth. Ameen. وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُم مَّنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهُ قُلْ أَفَرَأَيْتُم مَّا تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ إِنْ أَرَادَنِيَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ هَلْ هُنَّ كَاشِفَاتُ ضُرِّهِ أَوْ أَرَادَنِيَ بِرَحْمَةٍ هَلْ هُنَّ مُمْسِكَاتُ رَحْمَتِهِ قُلْ حَسْبِيَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ يَتَوَكَّلُ الْمُتَوَكِّلُونَ. And if you ask them, who created the heavens and the earth, they would surely say Allah. Say, then have you considered what you invoke beside Allah? If Allah intended me harm, are the removers of His harm? Or if He intended me mercy, are the withholders of His mercy? Say, sufficient for me is Allah, upon Him alone rely the wise reliers. Hasbi means kafini, sufficient for me. Even the idol worshippers recognize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of all things. But they believed these idols were needed to attract Allah's favors and to avoid His punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares His sovereignty, His authority in this verse that no benefit or harm comes except with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these idols do not have any power to influence Allah's decision. As we learn in a narration narrated by Ibn Abbas anhu, in Tirmidhi, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ الْأُمَّةَ لَوْ اجْتَمَعَتْ عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَنْفَعُوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَنْفَعُوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَكَ وَلَوْ اجْتَمَعُوا عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَضُرُّوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَضُرُّوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ. Know that if the entire creation were to gather together to do something to benefit you, you would never get any benefit except that Allah had written for you. And if they were to gather to do something to harm you, you would never be harmed except that Allah had written for you. So such should be the firm belief we should have upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what is the way to invoke it when you are in difficult situation? قُلْ حَسْبِيَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ يَتَوَكَّلُ الْمُتَوَكِّلُونَ. Allah is sufficient for me. This phrase is very potent, very powerful. It puts you in the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your affairs are then aided and eased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the same dua that Ibrahim alayhi salam made when he was being thrown in hellfire. Hasbi Allahu ni'mal wakeel. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then cooled the fire for him. So he made the impossible possible just through this dua. So imagine the power that this contains. Narrated by Auf bin Malik anhu in Sunan Nabi Dawud, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, فَإِذَا غَلَبَكَ أَمْرٌ فَقُلْ حَسْبِيَ اللَّهُ نِعْمَ الْوَكِيلُ. When you are overwhelmed by a situation, say, for me, Allah is sufficient and He is the best disposer of affairs. And this could be in matters of hardship, and this could be in matters of ease. Whenever you are in trouble, make this dua. And whenever you are in ease, make this dua. And inshallah, subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue to give you the blessings that you are in already. قُلْ يَا قَوْمِ اعْمَلُوا عَلَى مَكَانَتِكُمْ إِنِّي عَامِلٌ فَسَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ مَنْ يَأْتِيهِ عَذَابٌ يُخْزِيهِ وَيَحِلُّ عَلَيْهِ عَذَابٌ مُقِيمٌ. Say, O my people, work according to your position, for indeed I am working, and you are going to know to whom will come a torment disgracing him, and on whom will descend an enduring punishment. Makanatikum means halatikum allati raditumuha li'anfusikum. Your way, which you are satisfied with yourself. So the way you are working, the way you're acting, and you feel to be satisfied, that is your makan. That is the position that you're taking in this world, and that those are the actions that you're contending yourself with. Yukhzihi means yudhilluhu wa yuhinuhu, disgraces him or humiliates him. This is a stern warning by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to mushrikeen. Since you are not listening to the call of guidance by Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, keep doing the wrongs you're involved with, And when the day of judgment comes, you will see the punishment yourself. The more wrong you commit today, the severe the punishment will be in the hereafter. But also notice what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was commanded to say. Inni amil. Say, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, meaning to invite you to the right path despite your aversion to it. What is the lesson in it for us? This gives us a clear guidance to remain steadfast on the truth, whether it is popular around you or not. When the people of Makkah rejected the faith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the message of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he didn't give up and compromise with them. He remained persistent. Similarly, when we see the prevalence of sin around us, listening to music becoming the norm, drinking alcohol becoming more acceptable, dating and haram relationships becoming more commonplace, what should be our position? Should we change our perspective and accept this behavior? No. We should remain steadfast and continue our efforts to act righteously and still call others to the truth, whether they like it or not. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ لِلنَّاسِ بِالْحَقِّ فَمَنِ اهْتَدَى فَلِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ ضَلَّ فَإِنَّمَا يَضِلُّ عَلَيْهَا وَمَا أَنْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِوَكِيلٍ. Indeed, we sent down to you the book for the people in truth. So whoever is guided, it is for the benefit of his soul. And whoever goes astray, only goes astray to his detriment. And you are not a manager over them. Quran is a book of guidance for all people across the entire world. Its message is universal, and its relevance is till the end of time. Our job here is to share this message with others, but we're not to impose it upon them. If they accept guidance, it will elevate their status and lead to eternal success. But if they reject it, they're inviting Allah's punishment to themselves, and they're accountable to it directly with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu yatawaffa al-anfusa hina mawtiha wallati lam tamut fi manamiha فيمسك التي قضى عليها الموت ويرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. Allah takes the soul at the time of their death, and those that do not die, He takes during their sleep. Then He keeps those for which He has decreed death and releases the others for a specified term. Indeed, in that are signs for people who reflect. Yatawaffa means yaqbidu, takes away. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us on a daily basis how He has full control over our souls. The two types of deaths mentioned here, the death after which there is a return to this world, and a second form of death which happens during the sleep. When a person sleeps, his soul leaves the body. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed his death, then the soul does not return to the body. But if this is not the appointed time of his death, then he wakes up again next morning and continues on with his life. Narrated by Abu Hurairah ta'ala anhu, Muslim, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, إِذَا آوَى أَحَدُكُمْ إِلَى فِرَاشِهِ فَلْيَأْخُذْ دَاخِلَةَ إِزَارِهِ فَلْيَنْفُضْ بِهَا فِرَاشَهُ فَلْيُسَمِّ اللَّهَ فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَا خَلَفَهُ بَعْدَهُ عَلَى فِرَاشِهِ فَإِذَا أَرَادَ أَنْ يَضْطَجِعَ فَلْيَضْطَجِعْ عَلَى شِقِّهِ الْأَيْمَنِ وَلْيَقُلْ سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ رَبِّي بِكَ وَضَعْتُ جَنْبِي وَبِكَ أَرْفَعُهُ إِنْ أَمْسَكْتَ نَفْسِي فَاغْفِرْ لَهَا وَإِنْ أَرْسَلْتَهَا فَاحْفَظْهَا بِمَا تَحْفَظُ بِهِ عِبَادَكَ الصَّالِحِينَ. When one of you goes to bed, he should take hold of his lower garment and clean his bed with it. Then he should mention the name of Allah, for he does not know what he left upon his bed. When he intends to lie down, he should lie upon his right side and say, Glory be to Allah, my Lord. It is with you that I place my side, and it is with you that I arise. If you take my soul, then forgive me. If you return my soul, then protect me with the protection given to your righteous servants. Subhanallah, such beautiful dua that we should make a practice of making every night. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam here is teaching us an etiquette. So you are going to this unconscious state with a dua just so that if this was the last moment you were cautious that you are taken care of by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your death is not in a state of negligence. Subhanaka Allahumma Rabbi bika wada'tu jambi wa bika arfa'uhu in amsakta nafsi faghfir laha wa in arsaltaha fahfadha bima tahfazu bihi ibadika salihin. So every day when we wake up in the morning, it is a reminder for us. It is another opportunity for us to leave the sins, to repent, and to excel in good deeds. And that's why there's a dua associated with waking up in the morning. Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur. Praise be to Allah who gives us life after He has caused us to die, and to Him is the return. So notice on both ends, there's a dua going into this temporary death and then waking up, appreciating another chance. So every morning is a new chance to turn a new leaf, to seek Allah's forgiveness, to right the wrong, to care for our parents if we have been neglectful, to be kind to our family, to earn a halal living, to get out of a haram relationship, to give up the daydreaming and to get back to action. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a tawfiq to understand the blessing of just waking up in the morning and getting another chance to correct our akhirah. Ameen. أم اتخذوا من دون الله شفعاء قل أولو كانوا لا يملكون شيئا ولا يعقلون. Or they have taken other than Allah as intercessors. Say, even though they do not possess power over anything, nor do they reason. قل لله الشفاعة جميعا له ملك السماوات والأرض ثم إليه ترجعون. Say, to Allah belongs the right to allow intercession entirely. To Him belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. Then to Him you will be returned. When people accept idols and other items of reverence as their intercessors, they're putting themselves in a huge predicament. They are violating the honor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has full authority over all their matters. No one possesses any power over Allah's decision. A point of reflection here for us is we see some Muslims around us who have misunderstood the concept of intercession. They follow self-appointed guides and masters, even in the acts of disobedience, and they believe that such people can protect them through intercession in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-iyadu billah. We know from Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 255, مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَشْفَعُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. Who is it that can intercede with Him except by His permission? So no one has authority to save you from Allah's punishment. If you do sin, that is the outcome. No intercession can give you that protection. And with regards to following other people's in sin, even if they claim to be religious leaders or spiritual masters, we get a clear guidance from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Narrated by Ali Radhiyallahu anhu, Muslim, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, لا طاعة في معصية الله إنما الطاعة في المعروف. There is no submission in matters involving Allah's disobedience or displeasure. Submission is obligatory only in what is good and reasonable. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. آمين. وإذا ذكر الله وحده اشمأزت قلوب الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة وإذا ذكر الذين من دونه إذا هم يستبشرون. And when Allah is mentioned alone, the hearts of those who do not believe in the hereafter shrink with aversion. But when those worshipped other than Him are mentioned, immediately they rejoice. Ishma'azzat means nafarat, dislike. People of Makkah were so devoted to their idols that even though they understood Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate creator, they disliked when their idols were not mentioned along with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as soon as they noticed that someone is giving attention to their idols and mentioning those idols in a conversation, it made them feel really good. And they felt that their devotion is now getting complete. How does that apply to our situation today? In a slightly different manner, you see similar behavior around us. When you talk to people about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about doing worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about, let's say, spending a night in dhikr, or spending the next hour in reading Quran or learning Tafseer or some ahadith, you see some people are not too engaged. It doesn't give them that uplift. You don't see that they are enthusiastic about it. And flip the topic. Talk about now going to movies on cinema these days. Talk to them about the latest song on the charts. Talk to them about the game that happened last night, and how things were exciting, and what was dramatic in those games. And all of a sudden you see that much more interest, that much more engagement in continuing that conversation. Allahu Akbar. Such is our state today. And we should catch ourselves in those situations. And it can happen to all of us. It's not about being a good Muslim or not a good Muslim. It can happen to all of us, where we are that much less attracted to the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that much more to the frivolous events of this world. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to focus on what really matters and not get too consumed with all this flair around us. We'll stop here, inshallah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم